Do you want to hear something crazy? About 85% of the people who watch my videos aren't subscribed. So if you happen to be a part of this 85% and you've been watching all my videos and like what you see and just happen to not be subscribed, or you just new and like what you see, feel free to like, subscribe, hit notification bell, be notified whenever I upload. I upload every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 p.m. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So doing all those things would help me out a lot. Would mean a lot to me, but with that being said, let's get right into the video. As someone who covers the NBA draft, I also watch a lot of college basketball. I watch a lot of NBA prospects, whether they be one and dones, whether they be upperclassmen, whether they be known, whether they be unknown, from both big and small schools. And with the 2021 NBA draft being looked at as one of the more talented classes in recent memory, I want to talk about 5 schools that I am going to be watching this upcoming season. And these are 5 teams I think that you should be watching this upcoming season as well. But that being said, let's get right into the first team. At number 5, I have Oklahoma State. Now, the big reason why Oklahoma State makes this list for me is because they do have the current favorite to go first overall in the 2021 NBA draft, Cade Cunningham. But that's not all. They also were able to sign 4-star combo guard Rondell Walker and 3-star Canadian power forward Matthew Alexander Moncrief. Also, their second leading scorer, Isaac LaKEY, is coming back, but nonetheless, Cade is the big reason, but again, there are other players to look out for on that roster. But with Cade, you have a guy that's the early favorite to win Big 12 Player of the Year, Big 12 Freshman of the Year, and National Freshman of the Year as well, so a guy that can win a lot of awards, have a really good season, maybe one of the best freshman seasons in recent memory based off how talented I think he is. However, they aren't that high on this list, and they only are at number 5 because of the fact that they aren't eligible for the postseason this year because of a scandal that happened a few years ago. So again, no matter how good this team is, it's all for nothing really because they can't play in the postseason. But nonetheless, with an incoming freshmen like Walker and Alexander Moncrief, plus Isaac LaKEY coming back, and of course Cade Cunningham, who I believe is the best NBA prospect since Luka Doncic, it should be a very fun team to watch, and I think that a lot of people will tune into them. At number 4, I have LSU. LSU lost its leading scorer, Skylar Mays, who graduated, and they lost their third leading scorer, Emmett Williams, who declared for the draft. However, Trendon Waterford, who was one of the best freshmen in the SEC this past year, is returning for his sophomore campaign. Also, Javonte Smart, who was the second best guard in the team, is returning as well. But what really makes me excited about this team is their incoming freshman class, and specifically their 2 top recruits. The first one being Cam Thomas, who is their top recruit. He is one of the best scorers in the class. He was amazing at Oak Hill, and he's really fun to watch in that regard. That's a high-level scorer. But the other one is Imani Wilkinson, who is a 4-star wing. Really became a late bloomer, kind of saw his ranking go up throughout his senior year. Had a really impressive game against Jaden Hardy on ESPN in his high school senior year, and he should be fun to watch as well. Also, they do have Sharif O'Neal, who will be playing this year, and he's just a big name because of his dad, but he's also a really good basketball player as well. So a combination of guys coming back like Trendon Waterford, Javonte Smart, and new guys like Cam Thomas and Imani Wilkinson, as well as a guy like Sharif O'Neal, who should bring a lot of popularity. I think this would be a fun team to watch. They have a few NBA guys. I think a lot of the NBA guys are in that mid to late second round territory as of right now. We could see some guys move up, we can see guys move down. So they aren't necessarily the most exciting as far as draft goes, but I do think that they're an exciting team to watch nonetheless. At number 3, I have Illinois. Now, if you take out the factor of scouting guys on this team for NBA potential, this would be my number 1 team. I do think they have a few NBA guys, but I do think it's more second round guys that are going to be staying for a few years situation rather than it is like true one and done top 10 picks. That's why they are number 3, but nonetheless, they're one of my favorite classes. They returned 2 very key players. Junior Ayo Dosunmu, who was the leading scorer last year, and of course, the wonderful Kofi Cockburn, who's the Big Ten Freshman of the Year. Yes, go get your jokes off now. I got plenty of jokes off about it as well. It's a wonderful name that he has, and he's a wonderful player. But I am really intrigued by this incoming freshman class. I think it's one of my favorite incoming freshman classes. In fact, I know it is. It's not the best, but it definitely has a lot of fun guys. Adam Miller, the number 6 shooting guard in the country from Chicago. He's really good. He's staying home. The number 8 point guard in the country, Andre Cabello, who's Puerto Rican. He was a part of that team and really was the only reason that Long Island Lutheran was able to beat Cedar Canyon. And that's no easy task to do, so he's really fun. But my favorite recruit from their class is Coleman Hawkins. He's only there as a 3-star guy, played at prolific prep alongside Jalen Green. I think he should have been one of the 50 ranked players in the country coming out of high school. I think he's so good. I think he's somebody, along with those other guys, I think if they stay for a few years, they'll play themselves into first-round picks. However, it's a really fun class of incoming guys that should develop over a few years. I don't see anyone in one-duns, of course, but you got 2 really key players returning and a fun freshman class. I think Illinois is going to be much-watched TV, and I think a team like this, where we're such in this Kentucky, Duke, and all these big-name schools, I think a school like Illinois can kind of get itself back on the map with this class. But speaking of Kentucky, at number 2, I have Tennessee. Tennessee is a really fun team. The team that really has built itself on teams of the past, the Grant Williams, Admiral Schofield teams. Those were fun teams to watch. 3 of the top 5 scorers from last year are returning. John Fulkins, Yevy Pons, and Santiago Vesovsky. They should be fun to watch. However, they are my number 2 for a reason. It's because of their 2 freshmen. Jaden Springer is the highlight of the recruiting class, obviously. I think he's the number 8 prospect in the 2021 NBA draft entering the year. I made a whole video talking about why I think he's so good. I think he's underrated. I think he should be consensusly ranked top 10. He's ranked in at that mid-teen range, which I think is a bit much. I think there are definitely guys that are ahead of him in some of these rankings that aren't as good as him. But they also have my number 19 prospect for 2021, Keon Johnson, another guard. They have a great 4-star power forward coming in Corey Walker. And they have a 2-sport athlete, Malachi Weidman, who's currently playing for the Vols football team as a wide receiver, but will be playing basketball as well. He's an athletic freak that has some of the most jaw-dropping dunks you'll ever see. Again, it's a fun athletic class. They're probably the most athletic class in the country, but it should be a fun year. Tennessee isn't known for one-and-dones, and I think they will be with 2 in, of course, Jaden Springer and Keon Johnson, and a couple of entertaining players in Corey Walker and Malachi Weidman, as well as players, their upperclassmen that are returning. At number 1, I have Kentucky. Kentucky, once again, is an amazing recruiting class, and the thing is, I didn't want to put schools like Kentucky or Duke on this list to begin with, just because of the fact that it just seemed too obvious. People knew Kentucky had the number 1 recruiting class in the nation. People knew that Duke had a really talented recruiting class, who have a lot of guys that should be ranked higher, but are still highly ranked. But the thing is, I'm looking at this Kentucky recruiting class, and I'm like, okay, this is different. Usually with Kentucky, you get a bunch of these one-and-dones. You get like 3 or 4, sometimes even 5 one-and-dones a year. This year is different, though, because of the fact that I think there's 2 solidified one-and-dones in B.J. Boston, who I believe is the 4th best player in the 2021 draft next year, and obviously Terrence Clark, who I believe is the 13th best player in the 2021 draft. And, I'm a big Terrence Clark fan. He's from Massachusetts. He went to Brewster Academy. I almost took the postgrad year for education reasons at Brewster Academy before eventually deciding to go to college, but that's besides the point. The other guys in this class are really intriguing because a lot of them I think are guys that are going to end up staying for at least 2 years at Kentucky. Of course, they got Devin Askew, a really good point guard. I think he stays for a few years. Isaiah Jackson, I think he stays for a few years. Lance Ware, who's really impressive against Evan Mobley, I think he stays for a few years at Kentucky. But the most interesting one to me out of the other guys that aren't Clark and Boston is Cameron Fletcher, who is one of my favorite players in the country coming out of high school. He is really good. Obviously, he's going to Kentucky. You have to be good at basketball to getting a scholarship to Kentucky. But he's, out of all the guys I named in the second group from the recruiting class, he's the one that's most likely I see going one and done in the first round. I think he could surprise a lot of people with how good he can be. I do think that he's a bit underrated in that regard. I don't think he's one and done now, but I wouldn't be shocked if he ends up being a solidified one and done by the end of his freshman year at Kentucky. But again, the most important thing to me is the fact that there looks to be guys from a recruiting class from Kentucky that are going to stay. That's just something you don't see a lot from them. And interestingly enough, no juniors on the roster. It literally goes freshmen, sophomores, seniors. no juniors. So that's kind of fun. And like most years, Kentucky is a very young team that plays a lot of freshmen. So it'll be a fun team to watch. Again, it's different because they don't have a lot of solidified one-duns like past years do. But that is the end of this video. If you made it to this point, thank you so much. It means a lot to me. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, be notified whenever I release a video. With that being said, let me know in the comment section below some college teams that you think would be interesting to watch, or give me the calls that you're a fan of, whether it be because you're an alum, or maybe it's just because they have players on that team that you really like, or maybe it's a family tradition thing. Let me know that. We're really interested to know about those type of things. Maybe some teams that I didn't have in this video. But with that being said, have a nice day.